She didn't ask permission.
She didn't drink a Rolling Rock beer next to a tub of crabs.
This is Whose Creek Is It?
The podcast where two sisters recap and pontificate about the show Dawson's Creek.
I'm Miranda, and I've seen the whole series at least 5 times.
And I'm Allison, and I'm watching this show for the very first time. Let's get started.
We made it. We made it back.
Yeah, we didn't announce it, but I think we're moving towards every other week releasing.
That's going to be more sustainable, I think.
Yeah, because I don't love editing it the night before it's supposed to go out.
Yeah, that's probably not ideal. I know people who... I don't know these people. I have parasocial relationships with podcasters who do this kind of professionally and go every other week.
Yeah. Granted, the ones that I know that do it are doing, like, political... Like, they need a research and stuff. Our research is minimal.
You know what? I sat down and I watched a whole episode. It's been a few days, though, so let's see how jogged my memory is.
Also, I just want to make note, because I've just noticed it, you are sitting in the dark.
Kind of in the dark. Here in California, we're having a little bit of a heat wave. In March, it's fine. Everything's fine. No one's scared about the summer. As if the heat of this summer is the thing that we have to worry about right now living in the United States.
Who knows if we'll make it to summer, honestly.
Oh yeah, there were, at my work, people were like addressing the rumors that there were going to be like drone attacks in California. Listeners around the world, we have not experienced drone attacks from our government or any other that I know of. Mm-hmm. And we're sorry. Neither of us voted for it, but we're sorry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also, and this is not like a big deal, honestly. Okay. But I went to Costco to get gas yesterday, and it was $5.50 at Costco. Yep. And I was like, I mean, honestly, I'm surprised gas isn't more expensive because it's a non-renewable resource. It's amazing it's so cheap, but I know we subsidize it to be cheap.
Well, yeah, and we have a lot of governments have sort of an emergency reserve of gasoline that I believe they're calling up.
Yep.
Also, it is just absurd that I know why we have blocked the move to renewable energies, because there are a lot of people making money off non-renewable energies, and they have blocked our progress forward. I really enjoy driving my hybrid, though. Every time I fill up, I'm just like, this would be way worse.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our political portion, at least for now. Okay, so we're jumping in, and I'm not sure how your memory is, but I was going to ask you, how are you liking Jen's development so far in this season?
Oh, Jen. Yeah, Jen's not doing great. As I remember, her first scene is just clearly she's depressed in bed.
Yeah. So this episode is called Decisions, season 1, episode 13. Wait, Decisions what? Is the last one. Hold on. I'm not okay. Sorry, season 2, episode 2, Crossroads.
There we go.
Yes, so it came out October 14th, 1998. The director is Denny Gordon. The writer is Dana Barada. She's just going to be a reoccurring individual, I guess. So, I don't know why we're laughing so much.
I don't know why either. Because
the world is falling apart and we're recording a Dawson's Creek podcast.
Yes, the irony is not lost on us, listeners. We hope this is a nice distraction for someone. So we're on episode 2.
We are in episode 2. We're moving forward. Characters do seem to be changing, so that's fun. We're seeing new levels. But okay, we start where we usually do, which is in Dawson's bedroom, and it opens onto the TV screen with an infomercial for homemade sausage.
Yeah, it's like a sausage making device, which was pretty heavy-handed.
I do miss infomercials. They were great to do other things while it was on. So you didn't have to be alone with your thoughts. It was basically like the podcast before podcasts.
Could you sleep as a child? Because I was a chronic non-sleeper as a child.
No, we both had the same problem, and I'm gonna guess you would like to fall asleep to infomercials.
No, it's not so much that I'd like to. I remember being up in the middle of the night and watching them because that was what was on. Also, any parents listening, you should monitor how much caffeine your child is having. It affects them.
We grew up in a Diet Coke household.
Yeah, yep, we sure did. I might be like 4 inches taller if I had slept as a child.
We might be more well-adjusted. Who's to say?
I don't know about that, but...
Anyway, so yeah, we open to the infomercial, and it turns towards Dawson's bed, and Joey and Dawson are really just going at it. They've really settled in.
Yeah, they are making out.
So it cuts back to the TV, and we see a hand.
A veiny hand with veiny forearms. I just wrote down veins.
And this hand turns off the TV. And obviously they're like, what happened to our infomercial? They look up and there is Dawson's mom and dad. Just like, well.
I could be wrong, but what I'm remembering is that like there's a vague disgust on their face.
Yeah.
Mitch in particular, I'm just picturing his face of just like, oh God.
Yeah, and then Gil, I feel like she had like her hand over her mouth like she was embarrassed for them or something. But I think they're also just realizing, oh no, we worried about this day.
Yeah. And overall, I feel like, we'll talk about it more, but I feel like their reaction was awkward, but ultimately relatively chill.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I don't know, Dawson, Joey feel awkward about it. And that's how we start into the theme song.
Yeah, it was a quick cold open.
Yeah. So after that, we pop into apparently Pacey's driving class.
Oh, yeah.
And we find out that he did not pass his test. He didn't pass it by 1 point. Also, it happens to be his 16th birthday. And he asks for like the teacher or officer, I don't know who's teaching this class, but ask this whoever, the adult in the room, to like if they could just pass him. Mm-hmm. And she's like, nah. Which I'm like, I think I would just do it if it's 1 point.
How many points is the test? Because I feel like my driving test, the on paper test, was like 12 or 15 questions.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's like more.
If it was like
that.
Out of 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be one thing.
But you are correct. There's surprisingly few questions to pass.
Actually, fun and slightly related story is that I took my driving test in, I can't remember when exactly it was, but it must have been in the summer because it was 118 degrees Fahrenheit. And I think because it was so hot and miserable, the driving test administrator basically just had me take them around the block. And then wordlessly handed me my paper. Didn't even tell me I passed. And I was just like, we're done?
Yeah. My experience was the opposite. I did my driver's test and I flunked the first time I did it, which I was shocked by, and I almost cried. Not because I desperately wanted to drive, but more just I was so embarrassed I didn't pass. And the reason I didn't pass, I think, was because they asked me to make a right, and they did not see me look in my side mirror to check for, like, bicyclists or something. I'm like, well, I just drove past. Like, I'm driving faster than a person on a bike. So, and I didn't see any that I passed, so we're fine.
I'm sorry you were embarrassed. I feel like it is very normal to fail your driver's test the first time.
Yeah. The second time I almost failed too.
But you didn't.
That time was because I did not understand what the guy was asking me to do.
That's a problem. Test administrators need to be good communicators. And also, if you are very competent and very well organized and stuff, but like, I remember that test taking, like high pressure tests, weren't like, that wasn't where you shone.
It was not. I mean, I think I'm a good test taker, but yeah, when I'm anxious, my brain is just empty. And you're so right that I'm very capable because 7 days after I got my driver's license, I got into my first accident. Granted, it was in a parking lot. I was going very slow, and I'm still to this day not sure it's my fault, but because I had only had my license for 7 days, I'm kind of thinking it was probably my fault.
This was in the parking lot of of college, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, what a traumatic time. This was a tense time for our family.
And I remember calling mom and being like, I was in an accident. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, it was in the parking lot. And then she was like, you called me? Why did you even call me?
Well, with your first accident, what are you supposed to do? I once pulled over, I was driving on the freeway and realized that there was like a cricket or a grasshopper in my car. And I pulled off the freeway, probably not that safely, and called mom and dad to be like, what do I do? Shockingly, they didn't really have an answer for me.
Anyway, we've all been there. We've all been where Pacey is right now.
Yeah.
I also made a note of just this season, he no longer has the Julius Caesar haircut, but it kind of looks worse because it's now like just a frizzy ball on his head.
I think I prefer this season 2 haircut. It probably
Fine.
depends on the episode and the scene. It's a little bit coiffed.
And I just like that we comment on the men's hair more than the women's. So anyway, Pacey's having a bad birthday. And then we are back at Dawson's house. Dawson's getting ready for school, I think, and Mitch is just spouting stats about teen pregnancy to him. And Joey comes back to their house because I guess they walked to school together or something. So she shows up and she tries to dodge Miss Leary, who's sitting on the porch. And of course, Miss Leary calls her over and is like, I'd like to give you a book. And it was called Reproduction and Repercussion.
Oh. It was a strange scene because clearly she was trying to be this sort of mother figure, and I wonder how, and clearly it had come, I imagine, into her mind that Joey does not have a mother, or that her mother had died, so. But it was this strange situation of basically your boyfriend's mom trying to be your mom.
Also kind of being like, make sure you don't get pregnant by my son. This is kind of your responsibility.
I mean, I guess they did kind of tag team it, although Mitch was more just like yelling statistics rather than being helpful.
Yeah. His approach was abstinence.
I mean, that's his approach in multiple ways right now.
But yeah, so Dawson and Joey are trying to get out of there, and it was funny when Dawson's dad says, remember, Dawson, no hat, no glove.
Amazing.
I will say that my freshman year of college, they did just pass condoms out like, I don't know, like tissues. And me and my friends would take them and we'd blow them up into balloons and draw faces on them.
You know, I'm glad you had friends to do that with.
Anyway.
But eventually, Joey and Dawson escape the house.
Yes, they do. And Mitch and Gail almost have like a nice moment together, like, oh boy, we're really in it now.
Yeah. We have a shared problem or thing to worry about.
So now we cut over to Jen's house, and Grams is trying to get Jen to get out of bed and go to school. Jen does not want to go, and apparently she hasn't been going for a while. And I love Grams's like just vibe in the scene because she's like, rise and shine, show God your glory, glory.
Yeah, she's singing a song about God and waking up.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, but Mom would sometimes do that with us, but I think it was more ironic.
Yeah, yeah. As many things were in our household.
So Jen's not doing good. I
Yeah,
think
she's... Sorry, go
she
ahead.
needs to go to therapy or maybe take some antidepressants or something.
Also, have her parents checked in at any point?
Yeah, no, unclear.
Hmm. Her parents are nowhere to be found, and her grandmother is acting as if a loved one didn't just die.
I think the reason why we don't see the parents is they just didn't want to spend the money or the time casting parents yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only introduce so many characters.
Yeah. Yeah, so next we're at school and Pacey pulls up on his bike and has like a little fit and throws his bike. And Dawson's like, hey, why are you so cranky?
Basically, yeah, because Dawson has spent the whole morning making out. He feels great.
Hmm. Yeah, Dawson immediately is just talking about what's going on in his life. He's like, oh my God, our parents found us and now they're being all overbearing. And it becomes clear to Pacey that Dawson has also forgotten his birthday.
Yeah, and at first I was a little confused. I was like, is this that big a deal? I don't know that I don't know. I also didn't have very close friends until like college. So but it gets sort of explained later by Pacey that this is kind of a thing that Dawson does something for his birthday every year.
Hmm.
But at first I was like, you're really upset? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's also the fact that, like, we forget that apparently they've been friends since they were, like, I don't know, in kindergarten or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. My experience was I would find out it was a friend's birthday the day of, and I'd be like, oh, yay, good for you.
Look at you, still here.
So then I guess Pacey ditched school or something, because then we find him come up to Jen, who's sitting on a bench at the dock, I guess. And I did make a note that she has a Diet Coke, and I wrote fridge sig.
Fridge sig. Also, this was the first of several what seemed to me like obvious product placements.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I could see this one, but you'll have to tell me the
Oh wait,
others.
this was the second actually, because the first one I'm pretty sure when in the morning when Dawson's getting ready for school, he puts his like head in the fridge and we get an inside the fridge shot, and it's like right in front of like a Diet Pepsi, which makes me curious because I don't think they would put both of those as sponsored ads in the same episode.
Maybe they wanted to seem unbiased.
Bipartisan, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna turn on a light.
Yeah, you look like you're in a cave.
A cave would be cooler.
So we were at where Pacey runs into Jen, and Jen's just, I don't know, making conversation with him, like, oh, how's your day going? And he's like, I have a bad case of the Molly Ringwalds.
Aww. And you get that reference, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, they
sorry.
kind of spell it out for you, but yeah, 16 Candles is the one when, like, everyone forgets her birthday, but then the guy she likes apparently remembers, I
Or something.
guess.
I've never sat through it. Also, I think that's like a notoriously really racist movie.
Is that the one that has the gongs?
It might. It's one of those. I'm blanking on the director, but
Yeah, I think that maybe was the one where like they have like a foreign exchange student that's
yeah, just a really bad stereotype.
yeah, and then like throughout the movie, like every scene he had there would be like a gong sound and I was just gasped. I was just like, "No, this is what?"
Wild. What is the name of this? Oh, John Hughes. That's the director.
Mm.
Yeah, once in a while we are privileged in that we live in pretty progressive parts of a very progressive state. And once in a while, I'm shocked by, like, oh no, this is reality in a lot of places. Or to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jen says, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, she's trying to be optimistic about it, but this is when he also says, like, his family forgot his birthday too, and that
Ugh.
he was supposed to go to Maine with Dawson for his
Oh,
16th birthday. Which I'm
yeah.
like, your parents were fine. Like, they're supposed to be in Massachusetts, and
Mm.
their parents are fine with them crossing state lines, I guess.
I guess so. In New England, in that part of the country, it's not that hard to cross state
Yeah,
lines,
it
is
is
my
really
understanding.
small states. Yeah. Yeah, Pacey blames the fact that he forgot on his new romantic relationship with Joey. Um, and he's
And I
like,
don't think he's wrong.
yeah, no, definitely. But he tries to be nice and he's like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy for them. And then Jen says, yeah, me too. And he's like, no, you're not.
Yeah. He's like, no, you're not. You see this throughout life of when a friend gets a partner and they kind of fall off the face of the earth for a bit.
Yeah. And you're just like, all right, I gotta remember, I'm just a friend.
Or you're just like, I don't know, get this out of your system, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Can't.
Although I love getting to hear like the drama, not the drama, but just the excitement. So, yeah, Jen's trying to tell him like, well, who cares if no one else remembered your birthday? You should still have fun, I guess. And he says something about like, yeah, I gotta stop being Dawson's sidekick and get a storyline of my own.
Although, as a person with I mean, you know this as well, we both have holiday birthdays, or birthdays that are very close to holidays. It's like, it's hard to celebrate alone.
Yeah.
It's hard to, like, get excited
Hmm.
alone.
Yeah, it feels like a big ask to ask people to come to your birthday too when it's like near a holiday and then half of everyone you know is not in town.
Yeah. It's. You just gotta stop having expectations. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to start celebrating my half birthday. That's going to become my like new birthday.
I've thought about that.
But here's the funny thing. My half birthday is May 25th, and that's Memorial Day. But granted, it's not a day people celebrate with family.
That's true. That's true.
So
You know what?
that's
From now on, for me, Memorial Day is when I remember you.
thank you. I deserve it. So next, I guess Jen does go to school at some point because she is now in gym class picking up dirty laundry, I guess.
Yep.
And Abby is there. We haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
her in a minute.
Yeah.
And she's sitting on the bleachers not doing anything. And Abby says, "Oh, like, did you come up with some lame excuse of like why are you picking up laundry? You probably came up with some dumb excuse," which I think was like the menstrual cramps excuse. And I have so many tangents today.
Yeah, I'm feeling it too.
Okay.
We'll speed through the actual things in the episode, but go
Okay.
ahead.
So, when I was in high school, and I imagine you probably had it too, because we went to the same high school. So for PE, we had like a period of our PE, like a section of time in the year that we did swim, because we had
Mm-hmm.
a big old swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
And um, we had a like kind of like butchy man as our PE teacher. And he was like talking to us about how we were gonna be doing swim. And then he was like, "So, all the boys, I need you guys to leave the room." And then I don't know if you can see where this is going. So then he had to say, "So, it is not an excuse that you're on your period."
I don't know that you get to say that, sir.
Yeah.
Because, and here's the thing, is that normally, okay, I don't think I ever, like, got out of, I didn't mind PE. I don't think I ever got out of it because of that. But there are people with, there are people with debilitating cramps. There are people to whom it, like, is severe pain. Also, by forcing them to do swim, you're essentially mandating what kind of menstrual products they use. And I think
Yeah.
if a 15-year-old girl only wants to use pads, maybe leave her alone. She shouldn't be forced to use a tampon if she does not want to. Have her walk laps. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It was ridiculous. I'm like, I mean, I guess we could just go with no protection. Just leave a path of red behind us as
That'll
we
show
swim
'em.
laps.
You said I can't get out of it? All right, fine.
Anyway, so what ended up happening is like a girl got her parent to write, "I have an earache." That got her out of swim.
Hell
And
yeah.
then from then on out, for like the next month that we did swim, when a girl was not doing the class, like she didn't have to do swim, we'd be like, "Do you got an earache?"
I mean, good. Good for her.
Yep, it just became code of like, I'm on my period, so I claimed I had an earache or some other reason.
I couldn't. I thought of stub my toe, but that probably wouldn't do it.
Just my arm hurts. That probably would be good enough.
My arm hurts. I can't swim.
Anyway, long tangent, but yeah, Abby's like, "Oh, you just need to do what I did. I just stole some of my doctor's letterhead and I just write notes." And I was like, "Isn't that illegal?" But then I was like, "No, I think it's a prescription pad that stealing is illegal."
Yeah, the letterhead itself, like, I could make up letterhead on my computer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which, honestly, I probably... we'll talk about this offline.
It would be nice to just have ready.
Yeah, it's not hard to make.
Yeah, but maybe back in this time it was. You had to like
Yeah, it would've been.
photocopy it.
Yeah, like, you had to make, like, those old punk rock show flyers where you, like, overlaid paper on top of paper.
So, Abby's kind of giving Jen shit, and then, like, it's kind of revealed that Abby's like, "Wait, so, like, how was New York? Like," and it turns into a situation where, like, suddenly Jen becomes Abby's idol just because of, like, her past and, like, where she happened to grow up. They talk about, like, going clubbing, and Jen says a disturbing thing, which was like, "Oh yeah, I dated the doorman at said club."
Yeah, which she would have been at most 15?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just because I don't know if it was at this exact point, but my note is just, "Oh, Jen, don't take the bait."
Yeah.
But she's in a weakened state, and she feels like no one cares about her, and someone's paying her some positive attention.
Yeah. So next is Dawson and Joey and they're at Joey's house studying, I guess, doing homework, doing something. And they briefly talk about Dawson's parents, and Joey pulls out her diary because she wanted to write, I think, the quote of like, "No hat, no glove," or something.
Yeah, I think so.
And yeah, they then have this what is the word where you're like it's not summoning, but basically he's like, "Well, I already know everything about you," like,
Like
foreshadow.
Foreshadowing, there we go.
And she seems kind of offended, like, "You don't know me, you don't know everything about me." But yeah, then not Jen, Joey has to go take care of her nephew because I don't know where Betsy is, or Bodie. I don't know
Yep.
where either of them are. Uh, and
You know what? What matters is the baby exists, which we weren't sure about for a while.
yes, they did not show a baby. They're just put in a baby crying sound in, which works fine. And so Dawson's like left alone in her room, and I guess just was like, "Let me look at this book," she pulled out and starts reading a random page, and from his face you can tell he read something that is upsetting, and he abruptly leaves after that.
Yeah, it's clearly her, like, journal or diary. But even if it wasn't her journal or diary, if you don't just open someone's notebook that they have been writing in.
Yeah, no, I feel like if you can tell it's like their handwriting, or really just any handwriting, because like if something's handwritten, it's probably personal, unless
Yeah.
it's like being shared with other people. Yeah, so he was dumb, and he was like, I'm just gonna read this, even though it seems like I should not read this.
Yeah. And then he's super weird and rushes out.
Mm-hmm. And then we are seeing Pacey, who is posting flyers for a party he's just decided to have that day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the timeline is a little sketchy in this episode because it's like we're at school, then we're at home, then we're like back at school again, and then we're over here, and then we go to the moon, and
And it's all still Pacey's birthday, so
yeah, it's a little they're playing a little loosey goosey with the timeline.
I feel like the standard of continuity was just so much lower back in the day when people were not like just ripping apart shows on the internet.
Yeah, there weren't people making a podcast about every show.
Yep. Yeah, so he's putting up flyers and Dawson comes around to tell him of his new problem, which is that he read Joey's diary journal thing and it said something not so nice about his talent or like his movie that they had made together. And Pacey could not care less. It just
Yeah,
makes him
rightfully
mad.
so. Yeah, I would be pissed too. He's just like, oh, you have a problem? I'm sorry, Dawson.
Yeah, and Pacey just has had enough and he's like, you know what? Your life is not that interesting.
And Dawson looks shocked.
He does.
The slightest bit of pushback, and he's just like, bad things can happen to me?
Wait, you're not gonna just immediately console me for my one problem?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we're back at school for some reason, because then we have just a quick scene that I guess kind of is needed to explain something later, which is Andie who chases after Joey, and this is apparently the first time they meet, and Andie's like, hey, my brother needs a job. And we thought, you could just give him a job at your restaurant.
Yeah, also, wait, aren't they rich?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Will this come up later?
In what way?
I don't know. Will we get some backstory of why he needs a job?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did he knock up a girl?
Maybe.
Okay, we'll find out.
Joey's like, sure, why not? I can make executive decisions, and just decide that your brother who has no experience can work there.
Mm-hmm.
So then we see Joey and Dawson, I don't know, just walking together, and Dawson's trying to subtly bring up his movie.
He's like, it's really important to me that you think I have talent. And it was just like, this is a weird thing to say.
Yeah. It's also just like, man, your ego is very fragile. Just
Yeah.
constant reassurance needed.
Yeah, of this thing that, like, and I immediately, like, what I assumed it was from the jump was that as they're making the movie, Dawson's, like, not paying it. I remember him not paying attention to Joey because Jen's there, and obviously she's going to be mad and upset because she already likes him. So she's probably just, I've done that where you journal about, they're so dumb, because you're mad.
Yeah, and I mean, even if that wasn't the case, like, I imagine he was probably being annoying enough filming the movie that even if she thought he was, like, great overall in that moment, she's like, I hate him, he sucks.
Yeah, or you can just be like, hey, we're basically children, and obviously your movie made with a camcorder and your friends isn't going to be spectacular, But you can still, like, appreciate that someone is willing to do the work and, like, try to make things.
Hmm.
But, like, your movie probably wasn't that good.
Yeah. But what I find funny is what you said about him saying, like, it's really important that, you think I'm talented. Like, it's really important to me. That is what makes her realize that he read her journal. So she obviously gets upset. And then Dawson gets defensive, like, well, yeah, I know what I did was wrong, but still.
Yeah, which is such a move that people pull out when they're like, well, yeah, what I did was wrong, but I'm really, really mad about what you did. So it's not about what I did. And he, like, immediately says, like, oh, well, I'm sorry I did that. See, I apologized.
I do like the line, though, where she's like, I could sue you for this. And I'm like, what?
I mean, no, but you know what? I like the energy, Joey.
They're leaving on a bad note. They're in their first fight.
No.
Okay, so now Mitch is going off on his own adventure, and we get to meet someone in Mitch's life.
Yep. And he works on the docks.
Yeah, just two rugged bros drinking beers on the dock.
Yeah, because we get the like, they start their conversation, and we get, like, a shot of the friend, and it's just, like, this big container of ice with, like, crabs in it, and then there's just 2 bottles of beer there, and I was like, there's just, for some reason, 2 bottles of beer sitting there on top of the crabs, and I was like, okay, so they're gonna drink the beers.
They had to explain where the beer came from.
Yeah, which they made sure to show you the label, Rolling Rock.
Is that a real brand? I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's a real brand.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so Mitch is like, oh yeah, I'm just stopping by. I was on my way to do another thing. And his friend somehow knows something's up. Because, men are really good at reading emotions.
Yeah, they definitely ask each other probing personal questions.
Yeah, and at the same time, they're cutting back and forth between, like, them and Gail talking to Gramps, who, like, was returning a casserole dish, because remember, her husband died.
Yeah.
And Gail starts asking Gramps for advice about her marriage, which is, I don't think, the best person, but okay.
Yeah. Also kind of a strange move when they just died, but who can say?
Yeah. Mitch's friend is like, well, you gotta avoid divorce.
The big D.
Yeah. And his friend suggests having an affair.
Does he start with the affair?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he does. And Mitch is just like, I'm sorry, what? Like,
it's like,
meanwhile,
Kevin, who are you?
Yeah, meanwhile, Gail is telling Gramps, like, I've bought all the sex toys, I've bought all the lingerie, nothing's working.
And Grams is just like, I wasn't talking about that.
So then it's revealed that this guy friend of Mitch's is saying, he suggests an open marriage, and Mitch is like, I'm sorry, like, what are we, in the 70s? And the guy's like, oh no, me and my wife, we have an open marriage.
Yeah. My first response when he brought it up was like, this is so early to be discussing open relationships. But then, the comment about the 70s, I was like, oh, yeah, nothing is new. But yeah, I don't think this was like a big popular thing in 1999.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it was progressive and old school at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, for some reason, Pacey is still hanging up flyers. He's putting them on people's car windshields, and Andie happens to be in the car and gets out and starts giving him a hard time. And then it's brought up again, the storyline of the stripe heart and what was her name? Misty, something like that.
Yeah, the cheerleader girl who thought he was dying.
Yeah. And apparently Pacey's still upset about that. And Andie is like, Did you really want to be with someone that mentally deficient?
Yeah, which was my response of like, okay, after having a conversation with her, maybe he can get over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but no, they're just having it out back and forth, and it ends with Pacey being like, "Well, you're not invited."
Yeah, you can't come.
Now we see Abby is at Jen's house hanging out with her, and we're like, "Oh, okay, I guess they're being friends now."
Jen's Jen is in need. Hi, Crush. Come here. My cat has joined the party.
Yeah.
Come here, bud. I can't exchange meows with you right now. Anyway.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, they're at Jen's house. Jen is apparently showing her things from her past, like a picture of Billy,
Yeah.
and Abby just thinks she's like the coolest girl at school.
Yeah.
And she looks at Billy and is like, "Why are you into Dawson? Like, why were you into Dawson?"
Yeah, that was pointed. Just like, so why Dawson? After you've been with this worse for the wear 22-year-old.
And Jen, I don't know, doesn't she's still she's still holding out hope. And
Mm-hmm.
somehow this comes around to like, oh, we need to go out and have fun. Like, you can't be all sad like you've been. So let's go to Pacey's party. And Abby just happens to have a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, because you know what makes people happy? Drinking.
But also, like, this is not something you get like at the liquor store. This is something like you steal from your parents' house.
Probably. I mean, you can get like not actual champagne, but like prosecco or like sparkling wine.
Yeah.
But it's also a very like 16-year-old thing to do, is because like I don't think I know anyone who would choose to like get drunk on sparkling wine. That's like you have like one glass
Mm-hmm.
of it, and then you go back to drinking whatever you were actually drinking. Oh,
Yeah.
I just hit the microphone.
Unless you're having mimosas.
Unless you're having a mimosas, that's true.
Yeah, so I guess they're gonna go to Pacey's party. Next we are then at Joey's place of work, where Dawson apparently just wants to have a fight again, and he's like, if I bother her about it a second time, she's gonna realize she was wrong.
Yeah, tell me I'm talented.
And meanwhile, Joey is busy because she's a waitress. And while
Yes.
all this is going on, while she's trying to do her very busy job, and Dawson won't leave her alone and is like following her all around the restaurant, then a guy comes up and interrupts their argument and is like, "Hey, I'm Jack. I'm Andie's brother. I'm supposed to work here."
And she's like, what? Who told you could work here? Oh, it was me.
And she's like, "Yeah, sure. Start doing dishes, whatever."
Also, she says, can you do dishes? And he says, no, but I can learn. Which, like, okay, I guess. I mean, honestly, here's the thing, though. Learning how to do, like, industrial dishes like, you need to learn how to use the dish machine if you have a dish machine. And if you don't have a dish machine, you need to learn the proper, like, there's a process because you often have multiple sinks. These are the things you learn when you do food service.
Yeah. And like you can't have like water spots. Like you're actually supposed to wipe them dry.
But anyway, the ice house is playing fast and loose, and she's like, fine, go do dishes.
Yeah. That's basically the end of it. It's that they're still fighting. And Andie is now at Pacey's party, so she just was like, I'm gonna show up anyway. And Pacey is prepping for his party that just appears to be on a public dock, I guess.
Yeah, he's like putting up like streamers, like the little like triangle flag thing. And he's wearing this big goofy Hawaiian shirt.
You're gonna have to get used to the Hawaiian shirts.
Oh no, it's just it's like he read like a pickup artist book that said like wear something flashy so ladies notice you.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and it's funny how this comes up is like I think they're commenting about some hot girl is like off to the side and Andie's like, "Oh, she's checking you out." And he's like, "What, her?" And she says, "Some older women happen to like younger men." And I was like, they just want to keep bringing it up.
Here's the thing. I don't think I made the connection when I was first watching the episode.
Well, here's also a fun little tidbit is so the actress who plays Andie, when she was cast, I think she was like 28 or 29. Yeah. Yeah, she was like 10 years older than all the other ones, but she looks very young. And then Pacey. So his party like kind of officially starts and people start coming, and it becomes clear that Pacey has become like a wallflower to his own party.
Yeah.
Like no one knows he's the one throwing the party. No one cares that it's his birthday.
Yeah, it's just he has created an environment in which he cannot thrive. He's like, if you build it, they will come. And then they came, but it doesn't do him any good. And, like, I get it, Pacey. Honestly, that's how I act at big parties. I don't want to, like, walk up to people I don't know and start a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also feels awkward to, like, demand people pay attention to you because it's your party.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to my party on my birthday.
Did you like my streamers? Dawson shows up to this party, and it's not the same boat from the last episode.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I noticed that he was in his little boat. I didn't realize it was a different boat. It looked a little bit bigger.
So I'm pretty sure the last episode had the boat that he was like standing while he was driving, right? And this one, he was
barely room for him.
Yeah, and this one, it was like bigger, but he was sitting down. It was like more of it wasn't like a speedboat, I think.
How many boats do the Learys have?
I'm like, is he stealing people's boats?
I don't know, man.
And then we see that Abby and Jen are there, and they're already drunk.
They drunk.
Yeah, and they're being silly. Abby's like, "Oh, I dare you to kiss the next guy you see." And it's Dawson, and she kisses Dawson, and then Dawson's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, he's just like, what is happening? Also, that kiss probably tasted like cheap champagne.
Yeah. And clearly Jen feels bad and runs off.
She would have been embarrassed no matter what, but after that reaction, that's like extra embarrassing.
Yeah, it's like when sometimes you're like tipsy and you think something's so funny in the moment, and then you see everyone else's reaction and you're like, "Oh, that did not yield the reaction I thought it would."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel the same about this as all the sober people do.
Yeah, so then we're back at the ice house and it's closing time. And Jack is there with Joey, and Jack, being a very like observant, nice young man, is like, "So was that your guys' first fight?"
Yeah. Again, men, notably, they are very perceptive about emotions and feelings and relationships. I'm sorry, I'm sure there are men like that, but if we are going by the stereotype, particularly of teenage boys.
Yeah, so then he's like, "Oh, well, don't worry, you still haven't had your first makeup."
Yeah.
And then Jack offers to close.
Yeah, he says he'll lock up, and I'm like, you can't lock up. You just got here. There's probably a list of like 10 things that have to be done when you lock up, and it's probably not written down because this is like a family business that's run by two like women under 25. One of whom is a teenager, so there definitely isn't a checklist for closing.
Yeah, and I'm like, you've been here for a few hours. I'm not even sure you know all the doors that exist that need to be locked.
Yes, who is going to rinse the spouts of the soda fountain?
No one does that.
I did it when I worked in the dining hall in college.
I mean, honestly, the dining hall at a college would be the place that they're like, we can't get in trouble.
It gave me an unreasonable, working for the University of California as my first job gave me an unreasonable expectation of places following labor laws.
Yeah. And like allowing boundaries.
Yeah, they were like, hey, you have to take your break. Whereas years later, when I was waiting tables in a restaurant, you only got a break if you smoked cigarettes. I literally saw an 18-year-old take up cigarettes because that was the only way you got a break.
Yeah. I've had jobs where, in my field, I have to like bill for all of my time. So
Yeah.
if you're taking a break, you really should bill for overhead, but your boss does not like that. And so I had a boss who was like, like you don't have to take your 15-minute break, like, only if you feel like you need it.
Just lie on your time cards.
And I mean, it's impossible to be perfect about it anyway. It's like, what's 15 minutes? What's half an hour? Like, whatever. But it's just fun. It's fun how, like, there's a vast array of levels of sticking to law.
Yeah, and it's just so funny the, like, weird, like, we will do anything but let a job just be doing the task that you're asked to do.
You have to seem like you like it.
You have to seem like you like it, you have to account for every minute, and even if you're done with all your work, you have to sit there. And you have to make incompetent people feel good and deliver feedback from incompetent people and then convey to the vendor that, like, you don't actually have to listen to this feedback because this person is incompetent and unreasonable. And maybe I'm talking about my job, who can say?
I bet you a lot of people identify with pretty much everything you said. That's the fun part, is we all get to agree about how bad it is.
Yeah. We're all just lying to each other all day long in white-collar work. It's nothing but lies.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dawson's at the party. He finds Pacey. He confronts Pacey like, what's your problem, man?
Yeah.
And Pacey's like, do you know anything about me? Would you even know, like, when my birthday is? And then Dawson's like, oh, it's that day?
Oh. Yeah.
Which I've forgotten people's birthdays when I shouldn't have. And I'm like, well, now I have to write an apology. I have to write an apology text because I forgot to text.
Listen, we do our best.
Yeah, I'm a grown-up now. I put it in my calendar like a grown-up.
Also, it's different for me and you because holiday birthdays, where our birthdays were never that big a thing.
Yeah, a lot of people don't remember my birthday.
Yeah, it's people, well, yeah, there are certain, I feel like the people who are most into their birthday are summer birthdays.
Yeah, because
has that been your experience?
I would say I agree, because it's like, they're used to people being available to them on their birthday.
Well, and it's also just like, yeah, I mean, I am envious of them. It seems fun, but it's just interesting. I guess I never really think about people with, like, spring birthdays. Anyway, Dawson realizes he messed up this very important friendship and hurt Pacey's feelings real bad, and there is just so much self-pity going around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's nice. Dawson apologizes, and for this apology, he seems like he means it.
Oh. That's nice. He didn't just say sorry so that he could say, well, I apologized.
Yeah, and Pacey is having a little pity party. He's like, well, no one cares about me, and I'm sick of being a third wheel to your relationship, and storms off.
Yeah. Which, like, we've all been there. We've all been in that moment of, like, at least for me, of, like, even knowing I'm just being self-pitying and knowing I'm wallowing, and I'm just like, I just need to let myself be unreasonable and self-pitying for, like, 5 minutes, and then I can get back to being a person.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, like, I feel that emotion, and if I'm around people, I feel like I have to make a joke about how I feel about myself in that moment. Because it's like, look, I don't want you to console me. I honestly hate when people feel sorry for me. But like, I need to acknowledge my feeling, and so I'm going to make it seem like it's a funny thing.
That is something, it is work. for me at least, it has been and continues to be work to express when something bothers you and to accept either validation or sympathy from people. Let people be nice to you. It's hard, but I think it's hard for you and me, but to let people be nice to us. We're just unearthing a lot of issues on this podcast.
Yeah, but I love how we're like traumatized almost in the exact same way.
I know, and it kind of like came to, and we didn't really know till like our 20s.
Yeah. We have the same trauma, but it is fun to see how it like manifests in different ways.
Yeah. Well, I'm also like 5 years ahead of you. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm like 5 years more progress, but like,
yeah,
it's interesting to say like, when I was her age, is that how I felt about that? It's like having a time-traveling mirror. I think, kind of. Anyway, I like you. You're cool.
Thanks. I like you too.
Thanks.
Isn't it nice that we like each other now?
Yeah, we were not very compatible as children.
Anyway, okay, so now we have to go back to Gail and Mitch because you know they're still existing. And Gail, so they're at home. Mitch is reading or something, and Gail's like trying to kind of saunter up to him, like just be lovey-dovey, and Mitch is immediately like, "Get off of me!" And he starts spouting like, well, I think our problem is we just need to be like honest. I think the problem
because like that's the argument from the friend, is that everyone wants to have sex outside their relationship. So if you just get rid of that like quote unquote rule, then everyone can be honest and they can get the sexual satisfaction they want without hurting each other. Because if you say that you took away the rule, it doesn't hurt anymore.
It's the assumption that when you have sex with someone else, it stops there. There's no development of feelings.
No. And it also assumes that that's even what Mitch wants. Like, that was my main note on this conversation, is of Mitch like introducing the possibility of an open marriage. I'm like, Mitch, you don't even want that.
Yeah.
He's like clinging to this thought that if they take away the rule of fidelity and monogamy, then her adultery won't hurt so much because it hasn't broken the rule. And it's like, no, it's gonna hurt whether you say the rule is there or not.
Yeah, don't pretend like this is because she lied to you. I'm sure that's part of it, but I don't think that's the whole thing.
Yeah, and like and again, I don't know if you are able to maintain polyamory in a healthy and consensual way. Great, good for you. I don't think that's what Mitch wants at all.
Yeah, so he proposes the open marriage idea, and then Gail is like, almost like, how dare you? She's clearly hurt.
Yeah, she's hurt, but it's also like, it puts her in this terrible position of like, I mean, I'm hurt, but it almost feels like she doesn't have a leg to stand on because she went outside the marriage first.
Yeah, and she didn't ask permission.
No, she didn't drink a Rolling Rock beer next to a tub of crabs.
Okay, so the next scene, the first word I have on my notes is raining. And it's because
raining.
So we're back at the party, and Joey has apparently made her way to the party, and Dawson and Joey see each other from like across the way, and it's suddenly raining.
Oh yeah, it was so dramatic.
And it's funny because like for most of that scene, Dawson is so wet, and then Joey is like bone dry. Her hair does not have a drop of water on her. And then when they finally have like the shot of them in the same shot, like she is soaked. They dumped a bucket on her.
Amazing.
I'm also just like, was the rain necessary?
Yeah, I wonder at what point in production and pre-production that was introduced. Were they like on the dock and they're like, it's just not having the impact that we want, guys. We're just not getting that. Like, we can add background music, but like we need something visually to make this more dramatic. And then someone like took out a hose.
Yeah, I was gonna say, someone go get a PA to hold the hose like in a rain, like, put their thumb over the hose.
Yeah, go get a sprinkler.
Yeah, and I mean, I do agree because I wrote down, like, I was like, this fight was really over dramatized. Like, this, I mean, I know it was an invasion of privacy, but at the same time, it didn't really get resolved. It was just like, hey, I know I messed up.
Yeah, that was my main question is like, wait, there was no resolution. They just like came together and were like, okay, kiss again. There was no like real talking about what the problem was. She kind of says, well, I was mad in the moment or whatever. Which, like, yeah, obviously, but it just didn't feel earned.
Yeah, it would have made more sense if they had the conversation before the rain scene. But no, they're like, we're going to have them kind of make up and then they're going to explain themselves to each other.
Yeah.
So she gives the explanation of like, yeah, no, I was just feeling a bad way that day, and Dawson like kind of apologizes for being insecure, and and she's like, that's where I go to trash the world. That's what Joey says, and
Yeah.
I'm like, it's her burn book.
Yeah. Also, Dawson, if you want to be any kind of artist, you cannot depend on. It seems to me that you can't depend on that validation from, like, your close friends and family, because that just puts them in this position of, like,
Holding you up.
yeah, holding you up, but also, like, you and I have both, like, experimented with making music. I don't expect my friends to play my songs all the time, because people like different things, and, like, you can't, you gotta get over it, bro. You're also gonna have to take a whole lot of rejection and a whole lot of notes and criticism, so get ready, Dawson.
Yeah, and then Jen and Abby are puking together.
Oh, Jen.
Really bonding.
That does create a bond, but it's, oh, Jen, you're not doing great.
Yeah. And Abby catches Dawson and Joey having their sweet moment and is like, oh, those two aren't going to be abstinent for long. And Jen is in denial and she says something really mean. She's like, no, like she's going to hold out and he's going to get sick of it.
Interesting, because that's kind of what sort of like what she did, is like she was trying to hold out and Dawson didn't really understand. It's like, well, if you've had sex, why won't you have sex with me? What about me?
But it's also like, I don't know, shaming people for not having sex. Like,
yeah, I you know what? I feel like 16-year-olds should be allowed to date and not have sex. I think anybody should be allowed to date and not have sex if that's what they want in their relationship, if that's what both people are down for.
Yeah, Abby kind of consoles Jen of like, oh, well, like, you have more sex appeal, like, you're hot shit.
You're from New York.
And this is when Jen says something where I'm like, oh god, here we go. She's like, I want him back.
And what I wrote down is, what else do you want, Jen? What else do you want? Because I don't think she has ever just stopped to ask herself that.
Yeah.
What do you want aside from this boy you're fixated on?
Yeah, I do love Abby's response of, God, why?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then she's like, 'cause I love him. I'm like, okay.
Because you're infatuated with him and you see in him an innocence that you feel like you've lost, and you think that by being with him, maybe you can recapture it and become a whole, lovable person, and maybe your parents will love you again.
Yeah. What she said, yeah. And then, yeah, it's like, God, I hope this doesn't set the tone of the season of like, then Abby says, well, then we're going to get him back for you.
Which, like, I'm kind of excited to see some shenanigans, but I'm bummed that this is the pursuit of said shenanigans.
It's like, hey, she's going off and doing her own thing without men, but it is heavily influenced about a man.
Yeah, like, take up tennis or something, Jen. Try the clarinet. Do some gardening. Get really into, like, the Babysitter's Club books.
Yeah. lastly, we see that Pacey's kind of sitting on a boat by himself in the dark, and Andie comes over and she brings him a gift. She admits it was supposed to be for my brother, but I forgot to give it to him and it was in my car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, at least she's honest about it.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't intended for that person, I still think it's kind of nice. You know?
Yeah, it's just like sometimes you just be like, "Hey, it's your birthday, here's a gift."
Mm-hmm. So he unwraps it and it's a magic 8 ball, like very 90s, very early
Yeah.
2000s. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And they're asking it questions. Andie tries to ask it a question and just drops it in the water. And so that's the end of the gift.
Yeah. You know what? The gift was the moment.
Hmm. Yeah, and then those two kind of have a pity party, but then they're also both like, I don't want to say consoling each other, but like they get a little bit more softer to each other, even though that's not really their dynamic.
Yeah, what was Andy's pity about?
I think it was that she's like klutzy and just
Oh.
like a mess.
She's a So wait, is this the origin of Bella Swan in Twilight?
So, we get a quick shot of Jen at home looking at herself in the mirror, and I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to mean, whether it's supposed to mean, God, I look a mess, or God, I'm actually really looking at myself internally. I don't,
Yeah.
it's not clear. Then we end with Dawson helping Pacey clean up after his party, which that's nice. They're actually cleaning up after the party.
Yeah, that's nice.
Um, and Dawson's being all touchy feely. He's like, I'll always be your best friend.
Oh.
They get into Dawson's boat, and he says that he's gonna, like, take the car from his parents and they're just gonna drive off.
Drive up to Maine, and neither of them has a license.
Yeah, so here, oh my god, I meant to bring this up. Pacey has driven multiple times.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I feel like they like briefly like alluded to that of him like driving without a license, but
yeah.
But no, you're right. He has driven multiple times. He drove. Wait, did he drive them to Providence or what?
No,
that
that
Billy.
was Billy. But do you remember the snails episode with Joey? Like he was
Yes.
driving a truck, and then
Yeah.
he drove the police car and crashed into Andie. Like
Yeah.
And I'm like, did they mention that he didn't have a license? Or I mean, maybe they were like, we never mentioned it, but we think we can get away with like adding this to the story.
It is not uncommon to have something called a learner's permit where but you're supposed I think you're eligible at like 15 and a half, at least you were in California. But you have to be driving with a licensed adult with you. So that's a possibility. So it still would have been illegal, but
it is also his family is the police force of the town, so...
Yeah, so they're just gonna, verbally berate him and tell him he's worthless. Not take him to jail.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a real long day in Cape Side.
That day was easily 30 hours.
Yep. I guess that leads us to the question, whose creek is it?
I might have to go process of elimination here.
Okay.
I don't think it's Joey's. Because she just had to, like, push back on Dawson and be like, hey, you're being a jerk. I don't really...
It's not obvious.
It's not obvious.
Is it Mitch's creek?
It might be Mitch's creek. There were a lot of things going on with Pacey, but it kind of felt like he just landed in the same place as before of like, oh, I'm not important and no one cares about me and I'll do something weird and it'll backfire. So that didn't feel especially momentous. Then with Dawson, I don't feel like he like learned much of anything. I kind of want to give it to Jen again.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I think my votes, like just off the top of my head, would be Jen, Mitch,
Mm.
or male friendship.
I think it's male friendship. I think it's male friendship's creek.
Because, like Pacey and Dawson got in a fight, and Dawson's like, no, I'm sorry. You are very important to me. And then Mitch is going through a hard time. And so he found, like, a friend to talk about his feelings.
Yeah, and however I think misguided the friend's advice was, the friend was trying to help. You know what? It is the friendship of Jack to Joey, of him noticing that Joey is upset and in a fight and being like, I'll close up. This is a first for Whose Creek Is It? But I think it's male friendship's creek.
I mean, honestly, going into this podcast, I did not think we were going to start naming like intangible things.
Yeah, I don't think this should be like every episode, but it's a good thing to have as an option.
Yeah.
You know what the solution to the male loneliness epidemic? It's men talking to each other and being nice to each other.
Yeah. Instead of trying to impress each other all the time.
The solution to male loneliness is not men telling other men that they're worthless and undesirable. That doesn't make anybody less lonely.
Yeah.
Talk to your bros.
Yeah. I genuinely wish every man in the world had a nice friend they could confide in.
Yeah.
The world would be so much better.
Yeah, a male friend even, that they could be, or mask or male or whatever, a friend that they could just be emotionally honest with and emotionally vulnerable with. And if you're emotionally honest and emotionally vulnerable with someone and they shoot you down and make you feel worse, the problem is not you, it's them. They suck.
Mm-hmm. This reminds me of, I mean, it wasn't really a trend on social media, but it was kind of like a dare where like men would like call their best guy friends and they would have to say, I love you.
Yeah, I feel like I saw something like that.
And it's so sweet because the other man will be like, yeah, bro, I love you too. Like,
yeah. It's just like, it just someone has to be brave enough to say it first, and often you'll be like pleasantly surprised.
And if they're mean about it, then that person's not for you.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be that bold. You can use softer language. You can be like, I always love when we go to this place together. I always have a good time with you. You can work up to I love you, bro. You can be like, hey, good to see you. I always have a good time when I see you. What the world needs now is love.
Yeah. As Bad Bunny said, love always wins.
Is that it, or something like that?
Something about love being everything. I don't know. Whatever it was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Love. I think we solved all the world's problems today.
I know. We have all the answers. It's just no one's going to listen. That's the problem.
Yeah, no one's... You know what? That's not true. There might be even tens of people listening. And you know what? We appreciate you. Each and every one of you.
Yep. Tell your bros you love them.
Yeah.
So, Season 2, Episode 3 is next up on deck, and it's called Alternative Lifestyles.
I can't wait to see where this goes. That could mean a number of things, and I hope they don't make it too weird.
Oh, hold on. I know this is usually where we end, but I also briefly mentioned it in the beginning. I have no idea why this episode's called Crossroads.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, if we wanted to, like, reverse engineer, I guess you could say Joey and Dawson were at this crossroads of their first fight. And that,
or like the crossroads from friendship to, like, romantic relationship?
Or like, it felt like Pacey and Dawson were headed in different directions from the crossroads. Yeah, I don't know why this is called Crossroads.
Yeah. Nope, I don't know either. This is the first episode where, like, the name is not obvious. All right, so next podcast is Alternative Lifestyles.